We all have those calls that haunt us. There's not a 911 dispatcher alive who doesn't have at least one that sticks with them for the rest of their lives. Hell, most have too many to count. I always thought I was above that. And I never let this job or those calls get to me. I was tough. And then September 12th happened. I worked the night shift at a very rural county sheriff's office, a little over 1,200 square miles with a population of 31,000. Not a lot in the way of heinous crimes happen. There were these out-of-the-ordinary UFO calls every now and then, but most of the time it was loose cows, deer accidents. I sure do have a share of crazies. That night, my caller was one of them. It's about 3:01 in the morning. My partner, Anna, and I were watching reruns of 90 Day Fiancé when the 911 call tones went off. Totally routine, okay? I try to answer the phones faster than Anna because she has the quickest hands in the West when it comes to call taking, and unfortunately this time I got it. County 911, what's the address of your emergency? Silence. Hello, County 911? More silence. I look to my call screen where the coordinates are. Updating the call, it's finally phases to the correct coordinates to map roughly where the call is. Hello, County 911, what is your emergency? I repeat again, entering the coordinates in. It maps to a residence in our second largest city, and immediately I know who our caller is. Marjorie Cannonberry. Don't let her name fool you, she's not a sweet old lady. Rather a 32-year-old drug user. Extensive history in our house records. Didn't even need to look her up. In my 3 years of dispatching here, I don't recall just 1 week where I didn't have a call with Marjorie. Hello, Marge, do you have an emergency? I ask again. We're on first-name basis. Yes? I finally hear her whisper. Okay, what's going on? She pauses, her breathing trembling slightly. There's something in my closet. There's someone in your closet? I asked, quickly typing into my call narrative. How do you know they're there? Do you see them? No, not someone, she whispered again. I could tell she was truly terrified. Something. I don't know what it is. Okay. At this point, I'm convinced Marge is having another drug-induced hallucination. It wouldn't be the first time. Describe to me what it looks like. In the background, Anna is dispatching our area deputy. Please send someone, Marge whispered. Yeah, I have a deputy on the way, Marge, but I need you to tell me what you're seeing, I said. When you said something, what did you mean? It's tall, she said. It has to bend over to fit, and it has long claws. She paused. I could hear her sniffling. She was definitely crying. It's tapping them on the floor. Can you hear them? She paused, and I listened carefully to see if I could actually hear anything. And maybe it was my imagination, but I thought just barely I could hear a rhythmic tapping. Did you hear them? She asked almost desperately, like she was begging me to believe her. I ignored her question. What else, Marge? What else do you see? It's all black, and it has really big teeth. It keeps licking its teeth like it wants to eat me. So it knows you're there? Yes, she said shakily. It's staring right at me. Glowing yellow eyes. For the first time in my life, a shiver went down my spine from her words. Every horror movie I've ever seen came to mind, though I knew better. My supernatural bone was piqued. Could there really be a demon in her closet? Are you able to leave the room, Marge? I asked, typing all this into our dispatch narrative. Can you go outside until my deputy gets there to see what's in there? I don't think so. If I move, it'll kill me. Have you been drinking tonight, Marjorie? I know how incriminating it sounds, but it was a legitimate clarification question. Call me heartless if you want to. No. Please believe me. I know I've done stupid things before. This is real. I haven't been drinking. I haven't taken anything recently. I don't know what it is and I'm scared. It keeps tapping its claws. You have to hear them, don't you? The phone cracked as she held it out at arm's length. There was no mistaking this time. I could hear something tapping. A pit formed in my stomach. What the hell? It was like the sound of long acrylic fingernails. Okay, Marge. I'm going to stay on the phone with you until my deputy gets there. I looked to our mapping software. He's not super far out, so it shouldn't be much longer. Okay, thank you. It's just staring at me. Does it have a face? I asked, against my better judgment. I mean, did I actually believe there was something there? Yes. But it's all teeth, like it's smiling. And it hasn't moved since you saw it? No, it's just been here. Staring, tapping its claws. How long has it been there? I don't know. I woke up to the tapping noise and just saw it there, so I called you right away. You don't believe me, do you? It's not that I don't believe you, Marge, I answered. It's just... I've never heard of this sort of thing before. What you're describing sounds like a demon from a horror movie. I think it is. Another shiver. Her voice sounded so convincing. Real or not, she was legitimately seeing something, whether it was an actual demon or a hallucination. Part of me felt bad for her, being absolutely convinced something like what she described was staring at her. It would be horrifying. Marge suddenly gasped as the phone rustled as it went from her hand. What's going on, Marge? I asked quickly, my tone dropping in seriousness. It's coming towards me! Oh God, it's claws! Please help! My deputy's almost there, Marge, I said loudly over her screams, but I doubt she heard me. See, if I hadn't been freaked out by then, I was now. Those blood-curdling screams were one of pure and unfiltered terror. It was like I was listening to someone whose life was coming to an end in the most violent way possible. My pulse was flying as I was trying to type everything I heard into the call. Next to me, Anna was relaying the information to our deputy. Come on, I thought. Get there already. The problem with a rural county was that we didn't have as many deputies as others, but our response time was significantly longer. This particular night, the city's officer had called in sick, so it was the county's job to cover it if there were any calls. 1303, be advised she's screaming and not answering us anymore, Tasha said to our responding deputy. 1303, 10-4, 2 minutes out. 1308 to dispatch. I'll be there at 1076 as well. Our other unit in the area piped up. I had seen him making his way towards the area before, but now he was going emergent. I repeatedly tried to get Marge to come back on the phone, but all I could hear was her screams. I could also hear things being thrown around like she was smashing them with her body, and suddenly, as quick as it happened, everything went silent. Marge? Marge, are you there? The phone crackled. He's going to kill me. He knows who you are. You're next. And then the line went dead. If I had a handset phone, it would have fallen out of my hand. How would anyone not get unnerved by something like that? The movie lover in me was terrified. You're next? 1303 dispatch on 1023. The first responding deputy advised that he was on scene. His name was Jason, our youngest deputy in the department, a super nice kid who's probably the best person that could have responded to help Marge. Anna held radio traffic just for that call, and we waited for what seemed like an eternity as Jason went into the house. 1303 dispatch. It nearly made me jump out of my seat, my nerves on edge. Get a med rolling. She's cut up her arms pretty bad. Within 5 minutes, our med unit was rolling. Jason and Trevor, his backup, ended up chaptering Marge. I came up before Jason transferred her to the mental hospital after getting medical clearance, and explaining everything that had happened. Apparently Marge was tripping out on drugs, it's my first suspicion, and decided to cut her arms with razor blades. She'd also trashed her apartment in her drug stupor, which was explaining the crashing around her that I heard. What was the tapping? I asked. I heard the tapping she was talking about. I don't know about that, Jason said with a shrug. Probably something she was doing that she didn't realize she was doing. Yeah, no, you're probably right, I said, but I couldn't shake the bad feeling. Sad, honestly, Jason said, retrieving the papers off the printer that he was printing. So fried from drugs, she's crazy now. I glanced out of the dispatch window to the lobby where Trevor was sitting with Marge. She sat with her head hung down and her arms in bandages. And seeing someone hopped up on drugs is always a little disturbing to me. As if she knew I was looking at her, she lifted her head, and her eyes met mine. They grew wide, as if she were about to be hit by a bus, and she pointed at me, letting out another piercing cry. Trevor stood up as she did, putting himself between her and me inadvertently. I couldn't shake the feeling that she wasn't pointing at me, but rather behind me. I told myself it was dumb, but why was it I couldn't look over my shoulder? Jason flew out the door with the paperwork he needed, and they both struggled down to the front with her, load her up into the squad. In 2 days, hospital staff would find Marge dead in her room, her head somehow twisted unnaturally around. Her death would never have a full explanation. Finally, after taking a deep breath, I turned around. There was nothing there. I let out a breath that I didn't know I was holding and then laughed at myself. But of course there was nothing there. The rest of the shift went smoothly the whole 20 minutes we had left. When we finally left that night, I couldn't wait to go home and go to bed. That call really rattled me, left me with a headache. I got back to my little apartment, greeted by my little white cat. After giving her more food, I took off my uniform, I hung it up in the closet, making sure that I closed the doors. Hurrying back to my bed, I jumped in, I turned on the TV for background noise. And that night I slept with the lights on. Maybe it was just my imagination running wild, the stress of a long week, but as I closed the door into my closet, I could have sworn there was a pair of glowing yellow eyes staring back at me. Hey there kids, it's me, Mrcreepypasta, and thank you for watching tonight's video. I want to talk to you about one quick thing before we get into the real outro here, and that's going to be the Australian fires that are currently taking place. I'm pretty sure everybody has seen on their social media or on the news or what have you about what's taking place in Australia right now. The fires are raging out of control. There's something like 1.5 million acres that are currently on fire. It's pushing animals towards extinction, forcing people out of their homes. Many of them YouTubers and other creepypasta narrators that you probably listen to here. But one thing that actually kind of gets to me is that there's a lot of awareness about what's taking place down there. There's a lot of photos and videos I'm pretty sure that you've all seen, but nobody's really talking about where you can go to be able to donate, to be able to help either firefighters or relief funds or anything like that. And that's what I want to try to bring to you guys, or at least have you guys try to share around even if you're not able to donate. If you look in the description down below, there's 4 different links there that I'm going to have on the videos for the next couple of weeks. And hopefully we can, and I mean all of you, can be able to share this around, and all of us together can be able to actually get some more eyes on where we can be able to go to help. I mean, yeah, we're a group of people that likes horror stories, horror movies, horror what have you, but I think one thing we can do that's at least powerful for us is we have the ability to minimize the amount of horror in real life. So, thank you guys so much for watching or listening. If you're listening to this on the podcast, available on Spotify and on Apple and on SoundCloud and on Google or wherever you get your podcasts from. Or if you're listening on the podcast, then thank you for watching on YouTube and subscribing to Mr. Creepypasta. And a very big thank you to my patrons from patreon.com/MrCreepypasta, such as Dr. Strawberry, Jordan Alexander Sanchez, Chompski, Brianna Van Tine-Janzen, Stephanie VanHuss, Tristain Pelton, GWeevil3, Diane Kraus, Asia, TheRedOakShieldVirus, Sindee Barney, Nico, kaeo, Kaleb Dougal, Daniel Poulsen, Dante Rowe, The Lastbladesong, TheGingerBroz, Don Meulmeester, Eliminator86, Nebsky, Sky Harbor, Finley, SteampunkSinner, Raphael Rodriguez, and OptimisticAvacado. You guys are the MVPs, and everybody down there in the description, a big thank you to you guys as well. Sweet dreams, everybody.